everyone. I'm Dr. Fred Johnson. I'm the founder of InitiativeOne. I want to welcome you to the InitiativeOne podcast. Thank you for joining us to learn new insights, to be challenged, to be reminded about how to live a high-impact life. Today, we have one of our newest, in fact, he is our newest teammate. I want to introduce to you Austin Ertl. Austin has been with us now as our newest intern for about a week, right?
Correct, yeah.
Now, you have come off a pretty amazing fall. I'll give you a hint. Austin is one of these elite athletes. He was the captain of on the defensive side for the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. They had their most winning season at Miami since 2004 when Ben Roethlisberger roamed the field. I remember those years because my favorite team was Marshall, and they were going head to head back in those days. And you all had the most winning record since 2004. I believe it was 11-3. And you won the MEC championship. I remember when you were a senior and you were talking to various schools, and all of a sudden you take a blink and here you are graduating. You were again the team captain. An interesting note, Austin wouldn't say this about himself, but he tied an NCAA record this year in the AC championship game in Detroit, right, versus Toledo, right? And you were the first player since 2018 who actually blocked 2 kicks, 2 field goals in the same game. And it was pretty impressive how you bowled through and got that done. Austin, I want to welcome you. It is great to have you as our guest and as our newest teammate. We're really excited to have you as part of the InitiativeOne team right now.
I'm equally excited. I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited for the future for sure.
Austin, let's talk. You graduated. You were a 5-year senior. You were able to take care of the COVID year, take advantage of that. So your bachelor's is in marketing, and you're about to complete your master's degree. This internship is part of that. What is your master's in?
Emerging technology and entrepreneurship.
Okay. So I remember one of the things that you said to us when you came on is that I don't want to just sit around. I want you to throw me in the pool. As a new leader, you have already displayed the ability to gain massive impact and massive influence with your teammates. And yet, today's leader is completely different than a leader of 15 years ago who would enter the workforce. For those of you who are watching this and you are hiring new leaders and you want to find the best of class for those people to join your team, it's important that you understand what are the non-negotiables for today's leader in the Z generation like Austin is. So Austin, what was so important? What was a non-negotiable? Because you had a lot of different opportunities. What was really a non-negotiable as you decided which team that you were going to join? What was critical? What were you looking for?
Yeah, I think coming out of high school, choosing what, team I wanted to go to and whatever it might be, I think that the biggest thing for me was nowadays, I think a lot of people go for the hype, the fame, where are people going to love to see me at, and they forget about, themselves and where they'll be in a couple of years, whether it might be 4 or 5 years down the road. And I think for me to be able to see out of the lens of where's the best football team right now and look at where am I going to get a good undergrad? Where am I going to, see myself in 4 years being a better man, being a better person, and being a better leader? And, when you go to university, I remember the conversation with my dad like it was yesterday, but going to a university, you like right when I stepped out of Miami and left, there's a different feeling that I had. There's an intuition inside of me where I'm like, this is where, I was placed on this earth to be. And, I think that was Miami, and it was the best decision I've ever made to this day, I would say.
So you had you were making decisions based upon what was internally critical for you.
Yeah, and I think that, obviously stemmed down from my parents not letting me just, go to a place for, whether it be a coach that I really liked, or one of my friends told me that, have a good spot to eat on campus or something like that, like being able to look deep down at the university and, feel what you feel. Like you're feeling something for a reason. You have that inner judgment and you're like, this is where I need to be. This is where, someone put me to be here. And, when I stepped on Miami, that's what I felt.
So as you look back on your career, two things. What was your biggest failure? And then what would you see as your greatest success?
All right. Well, there's some big questions. I'd say we'll start success. I'd say my biggest success would be being a captain. I think that is the ultimate, thing that you can get as a leader on a team. I think that for your teammates to feel about you a certain way, to, give you that honor of being one of the guys, there's only two dudes that walk out there for the coin toss, and be one of those two that, everyone looks up to when times get tough, and the guy that, people look to when, they don't want to go talk to a coach, or they need some sort of, direction where it might not come from a coach, or, on a late night, they're in trouble. They need to call someone. Like, I'm there for them no matter what. And for the biggest success, I would for sure say, being a leader and being someone that, I can be counted on at all times, whether it be coach, player, equipment staff, whatever it might be. And then moving into failure, I don't know if I'd say I've had the biggest failure. I think the biggest failure for me would probably be, athletics wise. Just, I don't know. I'd say going back on it, I'd wish I would have played center, just for maybe I have a better shot at playing the NFL, but that's a later conversation. I just think that athletically, that'd probably be, if I have to talk about failure, that'd be the biggest failure I could say in that.
So, Austin, you and I have a lot alike, that we both have a prolific football background. You look at us, I clearly have a outstanding physique. And I was on the fifth grade Hurricane West Virginia Midget Mustangs. Midget Mustangs. And I had the honor. I was also a defensive tackle, all 64 pounds of me. And I was so good that I played 3 plays in 2 years. And I was an athletic stud. And that's why you and I have such in common. And so thank you for, great athletes attract great athletes.
For sure.
I watched you so many times on television, and what goes in your mind when you're in the middle of adversity and you have to make a play? One of our values at InitiativeOne literally is make the play. Just do what it takes to get something done that has to get done for the rest of the team. What was going on in your mind in those moments that you had to make the play?
I think for me, the biggest thing is before the ball is snapped, everything that goes on pre-snap has to come faster to you. Like if there's a 3rd and 1, or say it's a 4th and 1, and you got to get a stop to win a game. I think for me, it was processing information before the snap. I had to get all this information. Where's the running back? Where's the weight on this offensive lineman stance in front of me? And then it's biting on your mouthpiece harder. It's, have a little twitch in your hand when your hand's in the dirt or the turf, because, you got to give that much more on this play. And I think, when you add those two together, then you can be in the position to make a play. And then it's, 1, being in the position to make a play, but 2, it's actually making the play. I think that, that kind of gets lost in the art of stuff is, you put all this process in do all these different things to put you in the position to make the play. But then when it's you and another guy, are you gonna make the play or not? So I think it's when you're in that moment, it's all the stuff you did led up to it. The 4 years of 5 years, whatever it might be, of training, and since you're a young kid, lifting weights, running, going up in the Saturday morning early or whatnot. I think all that comes up when you're in that situation when it's 1-versus-1, and who's between you. You guys are both on scholarship. Who's going to make the play? And that's how I would say about that.
That's pretty amazing. We hired you because we knew that you were a gentleman who could make the play. What as when you were making a decision whether to join us or not, I remember you said to us, "Look, throw me in the pool. I want to be busy. I want to have responsibility. I don't want to be sitting around. I want you to use me heavy." When you are as a young leader, what is required in an organization that you're going to be a part of that has to be there if you're going to give your full heart, engagement, passion, work ethic, loyalty? What has to be present for you as a modern young leader?
I think the biggest thing is you have to see that other people have that same mindset as you. Like, I grew up with the mindset. I still have the mindset where I want to beat everyone, and I'm internally motivated, but I'm also motivated by other factors. Like, I see someone next to me, I want to sharpen my pencil faster than they sharpen their pencil. Or like, I was just raised that way. I don't know if it was from my parents or if it was just who I am inside, but that's who I am. And, I don't think I'm going to get anywhere in this world if I'm just, sitting behind people. And, obviously there's a very big aspect when it comes to learning and, having respect for others. Yes, that is a big aspect for me as well. But I think for me, the biggest thing for me is, I want to be thrown in there and see how I do. And then, because I think truthfully for me, in my experiences in life, I think the way that I can learn the best is from my failures. And when I'm thrown in there, I can see, you know what, Austin, you're not as good as you think you are in this. You have a lot of work to do here and that kind of stuff. And then when it comes to just leaders nowadays, I think there's way too many people that are content with, just going to their job, coming home and having a good night's sleep and then doing it all again the next day. There's not enough people want to, push themselves and, get out of their comfort zone. I think that there's a lot of people where, they get in this zone of, of habit and just being comfortable in their daily lives. And, comfort's good and stuff, but I think that, if you're really trying to strive to, make a difference in other people's lives, you really got to push outside those boundaries.
So if any of you who are watching this podcast have any ideas that, wow, this is an impressive young man and I'm going to see what I can do to get him on our team, do not go there. He is already taken. One of the things that we know about great athletic teams is that they always have a culture of what we call sideways accountability. And sideways accountability is all the players are pushing each other. They want each other to win. And they're not afraid to say, wait a second, time out, man. We need better effort from you. That's not what we committed to each other. And yet we know in today's world, in today's work environment, establishing an environment of sideways accountability is very difficult because people get offended if you remind them that, you promised that you would do this and it's Wednesday and you promised that we would have it by Monday. Come on, what's going on? How can I help you? Have you found, does that offend you as an athlete if someone holds you accountable? And what we mean by accountability is not it's not a gotcha moment. It's not a I want to show you that I'm better than I want to embarrass you moment. It is literally I want to help you to win moment. I want to partner for your success. As an athlete, how do you regard accountability? Is it a threat? Is it a gift? Is it a necessary evil? How do you respond to accountability? Because you've had it over and over and over the last 5 years.
Yeah, I would say, I kind of lived by the saying the past 5 years, and that was player-led teams are better than coach-led teams. And that all comes with accountability. I think that, there's a lot of people, I would say, that probably over 75% that, they get another player says something to them in a moment of distress and they take it the wrong way. And you can't do that. Like, I would say that accountability is 100% a gift. I think that, when you're in those distress situations, whether it is a Tuesday morning in the summer where you're going and running sprints, or it's a game 4th and 1, games on the line, or it's you're working your daily life in your job, I think that, having the ability to take constructive criticism from someone that's, in the same realm of, whether it be you're an athlete and you're a player with a player, or you're in a job and you're in the same level as someone else, or it's someone below you. I think that, being able to take that criticism, whether it be criticism or it's, come on, dude, let's go. And it's, yeah, I got you. Let's go. Let's get on this thing. And, some people are, take that as a negative, and it's, you say something to someone, they're like, just brush it away. And, it's the next thing. But for us and our team, I think this is why we were so good this year. We didn't have, there's other teams that you could say were more talented than us or whatnot, but it was the fact that, a player says something to another player and it's, yeah, let's do this thing. Or, it's 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 and the two D lines out there. The whole first D line's on the sideline, like, go make a play. I'm happy for my other teammates' success. Like, I'm not the guy where it's like, I need all that fame. I don't want any of the fame. I want all my teammates to get all that success. And, when linebackers or other people get all these honors, I'm happy for them. I'm like, I was a part of letting them get those awards. So that's kind of where I feel.
That's amazing. I love the comment that you made that the best teams are not coach-led, they're player-led. And yet, not everyone can handle that level of positive pressure. What happened at Miami when you would get that occasional, we all love accountability until we get it.
Exactly.
And what would happen to those occasional teammates who weren't into that? They were not going to receive it. They would brush it off. They would get mad. They would get defensive. They would sulk. How did they fare on your team over time?
Well, I mean, obviously there's the common thing would just be like, yeah, they went to the transfer portal or something like that. But truthfully, I think being in a leadership position that I was in kind of early, like I would say probably by my true junior year, my 3rd year, I was in kind of a leadership position on my team. I think that in being in that position, you kind of have to know guys. Like, there's some guys on the team that just because of the way they were brought up or the way that they were raised, can't take that kind of, accountability that some other dudes can. And with that, I think that there's different ways to, give accountability and give criticism to others. I think that, the first time you do it to someone and they're like, whatever, being a leader and being that guy's going to help us, whether he's on scout team or he's a MVP of the team, he's going to help us get to where we want to go in that end goal. You have to give as much effort into him as you do someone else, and not just because he can't take it the same way someone else can. I think being able to find the ways that they accept accountability is just as important as giving the accountability to people.
So would you have to go back to them and say, look, let me tell you why I'm having this conversation?
Yeah. I think that, with those people, you got to sit down and be like, dude, like, whatever it might be, whatever the example might be, it's sitting down and, tapping them on the shoulder. Because sometimes you don't know what other people are going through. Like, you look someone in the eyes and you have no clue what they're going through. You think you do, but they could have something going on at home that you have no clue about. And you raising your voice or screaming at them is just adding right on to all this and all that. So I think being able to, knowing your teammates and, in those times of situations and stress to, sit down with some of them and be like, you got to be better here. I know stuff's going on at home, but we got to brush that aside when we walk in these doors, and I'm here for you.
And you are, how old are you now? 23 going on 35. I mean, you are, we were talking about Nick Metler, and we call him an old soul. Well, you're an old soul in a lot of different ways. And that's a testimony to your mom and dad and putting up with your very difficult little brother, Logan. But we'll leave that for another story. Logan is watching this, and as soon as we're done, I'm going to run very quickly because he's bigger than me. You had a lot of opportunities. What was it that said, I want to be a part of the InitiativeOne team? What were factors? What were those intangibles that you were looking for?
I think the obvious answer is obviously my dad has completely changed the way he talks about the company and everything. I've never heard him talk about anything like that, maybe besides my mom. And but seriously, honest, the way that it's talked about by others and the way that I follow the social media accounts and stuff with my dad being there, but from a outward lens looking in, to be able to see what it does to other people's lives, I wanted to be a part of that. I want to learn, the back end of, what you guys are doing to do this, because, what you guys are doing in other people's lives is so special. And I think that the world we're in today, leadership transformation is one of the most important things going on in this world. There's people that are getting to powerful positions that don't know what to do. I believe that firmly. And with that, comes leadership transformation. I think that to be able to be a part of it, whether it be a short time or a long time, I think is really special for me. Whether it be I'm here for a short time or, down the road, I feel like it's something I want to be a part of. But I think for me to experience it is going to be really beneficial to me in my journey, wherever it might end up.
That is just terrific. And it is our honor to have you. Before we wind up, Austin, I want to ask you one question. If you could describe what leadership is from your perspective, from your experience, what is leadership to you? Is it about a title? Is it about a position? Is it about being able to tell people what to do? What is leadership for you?
I think that there's a lot of factors that come into leadership. I think the biggest test to leadership for me, I think, is if one of my teammates is in trouble, I'm going to be the first person that they call, or one of the people they call, because they know that I'm going to be there for them. I think that, you can say athletics, say it's, winning a championship, or being the one that breaks them down after a practice, or being the guy that's holding people accountable, being in the front of the line. That's all good stuff. But I think when it comes down to, being a true leader, it's someone who's there for someone at all times. And I think that, when my teammate gets in trouble or something like that, or whether or not even be trouble, it's they do something good outside of, football. It's they want to tell me. And that's my biggest thing when it comes to leadership is I want to be there for my guys no matter what. Like, those are my guys. I'm there for you. And, when they do that for me and, share their success or share their, dude, like, I need your help here. That's what gives me the most joy, and, being a leader for other people.
And, you're really describing what we describe as modern leadership, that leadership is about relationships. Leadership is about a servant mentality where you pour yourself in and you make yourself available. And when you're able to do that, it also gives you earn their listening when it's time to have a difficult conversation. And it's the investment of putting water in their well that allows you in those moments when you have to have a critical conversation. That's what allows you to be heard. Would you agree with that?
100%. I've always, since I've been in probably the last 2 years, whenever anybody asks me about it, it's what is it, that helps you in those situations that people I've had people ask me, why do people gravitate towards you when in situations of need or distress? And for me, I think the biggest thing is what you're talking about, relationships. I'm a firm believer that people will not listen to you. You can be the loudest one in the room. People will listen to you. They will not react or do anything. People will not listen to you unless they truly trust you and believe in you. No one's just going to, listen to someone who has a loud voice, but they don't people, if they like you and, they respect you, it's about respect. People respect you. They're going to listen to you. They're going to follow by you. Not even follow. It's about learning from you and, there might be things I say that people completely don't agree with, or situations where like, you're wrong, Austin, and I'm completely okay. That's where I like being a leader. I'm completely okay with people telling me, you know what, you're wrong. Listen to this, and I'm very open to that. So I think, relationships is the biggest part of being a leader. For sure.
I love it. For those of you who are watching, it's self-evident why Austin, at a very accelerated rate in his life, has learned and demonstrates what leadership today is about. And what a delight it is to talk to you. I'm just sitting here going, wow. You're years ahead of your chronological age. I'm so excited about what your future is going to entail and how your leadership is going to unfold in the years ahead. And I love your spirit. I love your philosophy about leadership. I love your hunger. I love your willingness to receive feedback, to keep growing. It's impressive. And it's just a real joy to have you. And man, I just wish you well in the days ahead. And for those of you, I want to remind you, this is Austin Ertl. Austin, just be watching for Austin. I think his name is going to appear somehow, somewhere down the road. This won't be the last time you've heard about Austin Ertl. It is great to have you. I want to say to all of you, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to tune in to our InitiativeOne podcast. It's where we learn about leadership today in the modern world, how it demands a modern leader who behaves differently, thinks differently, communicates differently, and does not act like the mainstream person that they're invested in themselves, but they really are committed to serving others. And you are an example of that. As we wrap up today, let me offer a call to action. If you want to know more about us, go to our website at InitiativeOne.com. There's a lot of things that you can learn about us, but I also want to offer you an invitation to join us at one of our monthly think tanks. That is our gift to the leadership community. We started out years ago with 16 people attending our think tank. Today, both personally and virtually, we'll have up to 1,000 people every month who want to join in and want to be motivated and want to be fed and want to be energized as part of their leadership journey. Check us out. Join us for one of our think tanks. We would be delighted to have you as our guest. Thank you. Have a great day.